When life throws you into the fire, it doesn't come to burn you, it comes to forge you. Every hardship, every failure, every heartbreak is not your enemy, but your greatest teacher. The problem is, most people try to run away from pain instead of understanding it. The truth is, the strongest version of you is hidden inside your struggles. Hard times are not a curse, they are the training ground for greatness. Pain is the greatest teacher in life because it strips away illusions and exposes the truth of who we really are. Comfort keeps people soft, lazy, and blind to their potential, while pain pushes them to face reality. When everything feels easy, growth is minimal, but when life hurts, it forces awareness and strength. Every struggle, every heartbreak, every disappointment teaches lessons that success can never reveal. Pain burns away weakness, leaving behind a soul that understands endurance and courage. Adversity does not create character, it reveals it. When everything goes wrong, when the world turns against you, that is when your real nature steps forward. Many people crumble while a few rise, because the challenge separates the hollow from the solid. True strength is not built when life goes your way, but when you stand tall despite it. The pressure of hardship exposes truth and shapes resilience. Like fire hardens steel, it is through facing the storm that a person learns their real power. Failure is not the end, but the foundation of wisdom. Each time you fall, you gain a deeper understanding of how to rise. Every mistake is a message if you are humble enough to listen. Hard times are not there to destroy you, but to refine your direction. When life blocks one door, it teaches you to build another. Endurance becomes the silent force that carries you forward, even when everything inside you wants to stop. Through repeated struggle, patience becomes your shield and determination your weapon. Dark moments bring clarity. In times of comfort, people forget what truly matters, but pain clears the fog and brings vision. It is through suffering that gratitude grows, and through loss that appreciation deepens. Discomfort wakes up potential that would have remained buried in ease. Growth demands sacrifice. Something within must die for something greater to emerge. When you stop running from pain and start facing it, you begin to evolve into the person life intended you to be. Strength comes not from avoiding life's blows, but from accepting them fully. Those who resist change remain fragile, but those who embrace hardship become unbreakable. Gratitude for struggle transforms pain into wisdom and chaos into power. Every battle you survive shapes a deeper sense of calm and mastery within. Hard times are not enemies but allies in disguise, guiding you toward your higher self. When you learn to walk through the fire without fear, you no longer just survive, you transcend. Adversity does not create character, it simply uncovers it. When life runs smoothly, anyone can appear composed, wise and strong. But when the walls close in and everything starts to crumble, that is when a person's true essence emerges. Hard times tear away the mask people wear in comfort and reveal the raw truth beneath it. In the face of pain and loss, pretense fades and only authenticity remains. The way someone responds to adversity exposes the depth of their courage, the clarity of their mind and the strength of their heart. When storms hit, the weak look for escape, while the strong look for understanding. Those who have built their lives on shallow foundations collapse quickly, but those rooted in self-awareness stand tall even when the ground shakes beneath them. Adversity strips away false confidence and forces a person to rely only on what is real within. It shows who has built their strength on faith, discipline and conviction, and who has built it on comfort and illusion. Hard times do not lie, they are mirrors that reflect the truth of a person's inner structure. It is during hardship that values are tested. Words lose meaning and actions become the only language that matters. Anyone can claim resilience, but only adversity can prove it. The moments of pressure reveal the core from which choices are made, whether fear controls you or strength guides you. Life's challenges act as a furnace, melting away all that is weak until only the purest form of your being remains. Through the fire of difficulty, integrity becomes visible. Adversity is not punishment, it is revelation. It unveils not only what a person is, but what they can become. Those who face pain without surrender discover parts of themselves they never knew existed. Every struggle peels back another layer, exposing deeper courage and clarity. When you no longer fear the storm, you begin to move with it, not against it. The person who emerges after enduring hardship is never the same, they are sharper, wiser and far more grounded. The truth is, nothing reveals a person's soul like struggle. It cuts through illusion and shows what truly drives them. Adversity reveals whether one's strength is genuine or borrowed, whether their calm is deep or fragile. Life uses difficulty to expose hidden weakness, not to shame but to purify. Those who understand this do not curse the challenge, they welcome it. Because when the storm passes, the person who remains is no longer just surviving, they have become unshakable. Struggles are the raw material from which real strength is forged. Every hardship chisels away weakness and forces a person to confront their limits. The more a person endures, the more their inner muscles, mental, emotional and spiritual, expand. Strength is not built in ease or comfort. It is sculpted in moments of chaos, pain and uncertainty. Each obstacle, though harsh and unkind, trains the mind to focus and the heart to remain steady. The constant pressure of difficulty strengthens resolve the way fire hardens metal. When life becomes difficult, it demands growth. Struggle forces adaptation and adaptation creates resilience. Those who refuse to break under pressure become sharper, wiser and tougher. The mind learns to endure what it once feared, and the spirit develops the ability to stand still in the middle of storms. Each challenge pushes the boundaries of what was once possible, and in that process, a new version of strength is born. Without struggle, there would be no depth, no endurance, and no real understanding of one's power. Hardship is not an enemy, but a silent mentor. It teaches lessons that comfort can never offer. When a person learns to move through pain without surrendering, they begin to understand the nature of true power. Endurance becomes a way of life, and mental stability becomes unshakable. Those who have suffered deeply and risen again develop a calm that cannot be disturbed. They have faced the worst and realized that survival is not about luck, but about will. Struggle refines that will until it becomes unstoppable. Every struggle leaves behind scars, and those scars are not signs of weakness, but symbols of victory. They remind a person of the storms they have already survived and the strength they have built through them. Each test shapes perspective, deepens empathy, and builds unbreakable confidence. Pain becomes the foundation on which courage stands. Through suffering, a person learns to lead themselves, to stand tall even when no one else does, and to trust their strength beyond doubt. The one who has endured struggle walks differently. Their voice carries weight because it comes from experience, not theory. They have seen darkness, yet they still walk toward the light. Such strength cannot be taught in words or gained from books. It must be lived, earned, and forged in fire. The harder the struggle, the stronger the soul becomes. In the end, those who have faced life's heaviest blows stand not as victims, but as living proof that inner strength is born only through endurance. Failure is not the opposite of success, it is its foundation. Every fall exposes the cracks that comfort hides. When things go wrong, they reveal what must change, what must be rebuilt, and what must be strengthened. Success often blinds people with pride, but failure humbles them into learning. It forces the mind to face its mistakes and see clearly where it went wrong. Each time a person fails, they gain a deeper layer of understanding that no easy victory could ever provide. When failure strikes, it breaks the illusion of perfection. It teaches that knowledge without experience is empty and that wisdom is born through pain. Every disappointment carries a hidden message, a lesson waiting to be understood. Those who refuse to learn repeat their mistakes, but those who pay attention evolve into stronger, sharper versions of themselves. Failure burns away arrogance and replaces it with awareness, discipline, and respect for effort. It creates individuals who no longer fear falling because they understand that every fall is another chance to rise wiser. The true power of failure lies in transformation. It reshapes the way a person thinks, acts, and approaches life. Success builds comfort, but failure builds clarity. It removes unnecessary noise and sharpens focus on what truly matters. The moments of defeat carve out inner space for patience, resilience, and determination. Through failure, a person learns the language of persistence, discovering that progress often hides behind countless unseen setbacks. Every mistake becomes a stepping stone toward mastery. Failure also teaches humility. It reminds a person that strength is not about always winning but about continuing despite the losses. It softens the ego while strengthening the spirit. Those who have failed deeply no longer judge others harshly because they understand struggle from within. They walk with quiet confidence, not because they have never fallen, but because they know they can rise again. The experience of falling and rising shapes an unbreakable kind of wisdom that cannot be taken away. Each failure refines character and purifies ambition. It filters out weakness and strengthens vision. People who have tasted defeat often achieve more depth than those who have only known success. Their decisions are rooted in experience, not fantasy. They no longer chase perfection, they chase growth. Failure turns pain into purpose, confusion into direction, and effort into wisdom. It becomes the invisible force that shapes a person's greatness from the inside out. Endurance is not about surviving the storm, it is about walking through it with unwavering resolve. When life becomes harsh and uncertain, endurance is what keeps a person grounded. It is the silent force that allows one to continue when everything inside screams to stop. Those who learn to endure understand that strength is not shown in moments of ease, but in moments of exhaustion. Endurance teaches that even when the body weakens and the mind doubts, the spirit can still push forward with an unbreakable will. When a person stops running from discomfort, they begin to understand the true depth of their power. Pain, fear, and struggle are not barriers, they are pathways. Endurance transforms the mind to see obstacles not as punishment, but as opportunities to expand beyond limitation. Every time someone chooses to face hardship instead of fleeing from it, they grow more grounded, more stable, and more unshakable. It is through repeated tests of endurance that patience is built and chaos is mastered. Resilience is born from the decision to persist when quitting feels easier. It grows quietly, without applause, in the moments no one sees. Each trial survived adds another layer of strength to the foundation of character. Endurance trains the mind to stay calm in difficulty and to act with clarity even in pain. It turns panic into discipline and despair into determination. With each challenge faced, resilience becomes not just a skill but a natural state of being. The power of endurance lies in its silence. It doesn't shout or demand recognition, it simply continues. It does not rely on external motivation or validation, but moves from an inner knowing that everything passes. The person who has mastered endurance no longer fights the struggle, they flow through it, unbending yet flexible. Endurance builds an internal calm that nothing outside can shake, a strength that doesn't need to prove itself because it simply exists. Through endurance, life's hardships become instruments of transformation. What once felt unbearable becomes fuel for growth. The person who endures discovers that resilience is not a gift. It is earned through every sleepless night, every painful choice, and every silent battle faced with courage. They learn that no force can break what has learned to bend. Over time, endurance molds a human being into something far greater than strong. It makes them unyielding, grounded, and deeply alive. Dark times strip away illusions and reveal the truth that comfort hides. When life moves smoothly, people often mistake convenience for meaning, but when darkness falls, clarity is born. In moments of struggle, everything unnecessary fades and only what truly matters remains. Pain forces focus. It teaches the difference between noise and necessity. When the world feels uncertain and everything seems lost, the mind begins to search for light, and that search gives life new purpose and direction. Hardship exposes priorities that comfort conceals. When the easy options disappear, people discover what they truly value. The heart learns to separate what is real from what is temporary. In darkness, the illusions of control and perfection dissolve, leaving only authenticity. It is in the silence of pain that truth speaks the loudest. The things once taken for granted, peace, love, stability, suddenly become sacred. Through struggle, awareness grows and awareness becomes wisdom. When everything falls apart, the mind begins to see with new eyes. The chaos of difficulty removes distraction and forces deep reflection. Darkness demands introspection, making a person confront their fears and question their path. It teaches that light is not something external to be found, but something internal to be ignited. In those moments, life stops being about chasing success and becomes about finding meaning. The deeper the darkness, the brighter the realization that follows. Dark times also cultivate humility. They remind people that strength is not invincibility, but the ability to remain open and aware even when suffering. Hardship brings the understanding that nothing in life is permanent, not joy, not pain, not failure, not success. This realization frees the mind from attachment and gives it clarity. Instead of fighting against what is, a person begins to move with it. Acceptance replaces resistance and peace begins to grow quietly within the chaos. Every period of darkness leaves behind a sharpened sense of understanding. Once a person has walked through confusion, betrayal and despair, they emerge more grounded and less easily shaken. They stop seeking constant brightness and start valuing balance. The wisdom gained in darkness becomes a guiding light that stays long after the pain fades. It is not the light that teaches appreciation for life. It is the darkness that shows its true worth. Discomfort is the force that awakens the dormant potential buried deep within. When life becomes uncomfortable, when certainty disappears, that is when true growth begins. The mind resists at first, craving safety and routine, but discomfort breaks that illusion. It pushes a person to face their limits and question everything they once believed they could not do. Comfort keeps ability asleep, while struggle shakes it awake. Only under pressure does hidden strength rise to the surface, proving that the human spirit is far more capable than it realizes. Pressure reveals potential the way heat reveals metal's strength. When faced with difficulty, the ordinary layers of life peel away and something raw and powerful begins to emerge. The body learns endurance, the mind learns focus, and the heart learns courage. Discomfort stretches what was once considered impossible and turns it into a new normal. It forces growth through necessity, not choice. Those who embrace discomfort do not just survive challenges, They evolve through them, expanding beyond their former selves. Avoiding discomfort weakens both the body and the mind. Every time a person chooses the easy path, they deny themselves the chance to discover their true limits. Strength, creativity and resilience are not born from relaxation, they are born from resistance. When you are pushed beyond comfort, instinct and intelligence combine to find a way forward. Discomfort becomes the training ground where potential is shaped into skill and raw will is transformed into mastery. Growth demands the courage to endure what feels unpleasant. Every breakthrough in life begins with tension, uncertainty and effort. When discomfort is embraced instead of feared, it becomes energy that fuels transformation. It tears down false comfort and builds a new level of power from within. Through this process, a person learns not only to tolerate struggle, but to find purpose in it. The pain of effort becomes the fire that refines both discipline and determination. Those who make peace with discomfort unlock a level of strength that others never touch. They stop searching for easy paths and begin creating their own. The constant pressure that once felt unbearable becomes the very source of clarity and growth. Each uncomfortable step reveals a deeper layer of capability and resilience. In this state, life's challenges no longer feel like obstacles, they become the tools that carve potential into greatness. Growth is not a gentle process, it is a tearing apart of everything false within. To evolve, something must be destroyed, old habits, limiting beliefs, and the comfortable illusions that keep a person stagnant. Every stage of transformation demands a price, and that price is always sacrifice. Those who cling to what is easy can never discover what lies beyond their boundaries. Progress is born only when a person is willing to let go of the version of themselves that no longer serves their becoming. Sacrifice is the raw fuel of transformation. To rise higher, one must burn what is lower. The mind must abandon its dependency on comfort. The heart must detach from fear and the spirit must break free from hesitation. Each sacrifice hurts because it cuts through attachment. It demands the courage to release what once felt necessary. But in that very release, space is created for strength, wisdom and clarity to enter. Without surrender, there can be no expansion. Every great transformation begins with loss. A person cannot hold on to weakness and still expect to grow strong. The old identity must die for the new one to live. The struggle between who you were and who you must become is what defines the path of growth. This conflict burns deeply, but it also refines. Through sacrifice, resistance turns into resilience and pain becomes the foundation for greater power. What once seemed unbearable becomes the passageway to self-mastery. Sacrifice also reveals what truly matters. When forced to give up comfort, distractions or false securities, only what is essential remains. This clarity gives direction and purpose to life. The more one sacrifices, the more one realizes that strength and peace do not come from accumulation but from letting go. True growth is not about adding more, it is about shedding the unnecessary until only truth remains. The process is ruthless but purifying, leaving no room for pretension or weakness. In sacrifice, the individual discovers freedom. When there is nothing left to lose, fear dissolves. What remains is pure determination and awareness. The pain of sacrifice transforms into the calm of acceptance, and the chaos of change becomes the rhythm of evolution. Each layer shed brings a person closer to their true nature, unshaken, unbound and unafraid. Growth demands that something must break, and in that breaking, the real strength of the human spirit is finally revealed. Gratitude for struggle is not about enjoying pain, it is about recognizing its purpose. Every difficulty carries a hidden lesson that only reveals itself to those who are willing to see beyond discomfort. Most people curse their hardships. wishing them away, but those who learn to be thankful for them rise above average living. Gratitude transforms pain from punishment into instruction. It changes how a person interprets life, turning bitterness into wisdom and resistance into acceptance. When the heart learns to thank even the storm loses its power to break it. Struggle refines a person in ways comfort never can. It sharpens awareness, builds endurance, and teaches the value of perseverance. Gratitude allows one to endure this process without resentment. It turns the weight of burden into a tool of discipline. Every sleepless night, every failure, every heartbreak becomes a form of training. The person who understands this begins to see struggle not as a setback, but as a silent teacher shaping their destiny. Gratitude in hardship is the difference between being crushed by pain and being strengthened by it. When you start to appreciate challenges, your energy shifts completely. Fear turns into focus, doubt into drive, and frustration into patience. Gratitude breaks the cycle of self-pity and brings clarity to chaos. It allows you to see the bigger design at work, where every delay, rejection, or loss becomes part of a greater unfolding. This perspective frees the mind from constant complaint and gives rise to quiet strength. Those who live with this mindset become unmovable because they no longer fight life, they work with it. Being grateful during struggle also builds inner peace. It silences the endless. Why me that weakens so many people. Gratitude grounds the spirit, reminding you that even in pain, there is purpose. It teaches humility, the understanding that life owes you nothing, yet gives you everything you need to grow. Through that humility comes stability. You stop seeking fairness and start seeking understanding. You stop resisting reality and start embracing it as the forge where true strength is born. A grateful heart cannot be defeated because it no longer depends on outcomes. It finds power even in loss and meaning even in failure. Gratitude for struggle is what separates the broken from the awakened. Those who can thank life for both the blessings and the battles walk with a deeper calm, a steadier presence, and an unshakable spirit. They understand that everything that hurt them was, in truth, preparing them. Gratitude becomes their shield, turning every wound into wisdom and every trial into transformation. Transformation through acceptance is the moment when resistance ends and understanding begins. Most people spend their lives fighting reality, trying to bend life to their will, and in doing so, they exhaust their spirit. Acceptance does not mean surrendering to weakness, it means aligning with truth. When you stop resisting what is, you gain the clarity to see how things actually work. It is in that clarity that transformation begins. The energy once wasted on struggle becomes the strength that fuels growth. When you look back at your life, you will not remember the easy days that passed without resistance. You will remember the storms that shook you, yet made you unbreakable. Strength is not born in comfort but in chaos. The question is never, why is this happening to me, but what is this trying to teach me? Because once you understand that, no hardship can ever defeat you. It can only shape you into someone the world cannot ignore.